In today's video, I'm going to talk about pilot ranks. What are the different pilot ranks called? What are the roles and responsibilities associated with each of them? I'll also talk about how many stripes like these do each of these pilots wear. And most importantly, I'll tell you how does a pilot get promoted from being a junior to a senior all the way in his career. So if you are ready, fasten those seatbelts because we are ready for takeoff. What's up fellow aviators, and welcome back to the FlyTuber, Flying Simplified through YouTube. My name is Ali Asghar, and on this channel I talk about interesting aviation facts and aircraft knowledge. So if you are an aviation enthusiast and are passionate about aircrafts and flying, consider subscribing. Why do we need these ranks in the first place? Most of the companies have certain positions or designations in their career. The employees start at the bottom of the pyramid and they work their way up by promotions and experience. Now how it helps really is, firstly, it helps the company in having proper management and control over all its employees, and it also helps them in paying out their salaries, rewards, bonuses, etc. by grouping people according to their skill set. Moreover, it also helps the employees because they have a certain set target that they have to achieve, and to get promoted, it's a sort of motivation and they up their skills. It's same for the pilots in the airlines, because after all, airlines are also commercial companies, right? To start off with the list, first up is a junior first officer or a second officer. Both these titles are one and the same. It's just like different airlines like to call it in their preferred way. But these pilots are fresh recruits in an airline and more or less they are under training. आप मुझसे पूछोगे कि भाई बंदा अभी सीपीएल की ट्रेनिंग फिनिश करके आया है तो अब फिर से किस बात की ट्रेनिंग? And to answer that, there are two reasons really. First, in our CPL training, we learn to fly smaller aircrafts. But now these pilots learn to fly bigger aircrafts. And secondly, these pilots also learn the airline procedures and how to work under airline parameters. The primary responsibility of a second officer is to learn the airline procedures, learn to fly the aircraft, start understanding the aircraft. And once the training is completed, they start flying the aircraft and start gaining experience and hours. A first officer wears one or two stripes differing from airline to airline, but the ranks and roles are exactly the same. In my airline, a second officer wears one stripe. So next up in the list is the first officer, and you get promoted to being an FO once you pass certain set amount of required hours by the airline, close to about 500 hours. The responsibilities of an FO is exactly same as an SO. It's to learn and fly the aircraft, gain experience. Most importantly is to take over in case the captain falls incapacitated, and I'll talk about pilot incapacitation in a later video. So what's the main difference between an FO and an SO, you may ask? And the main difference really is salary. Yes, you get a salary bump once you become an FO. Side note, these pilots are not an assistant to the captain but rather a co-worker, and that's why they are termed a co-pilot, although there's a lot of difference between the experience levels. These pilots wear 2 or 3 stripes, again differing from airline to airline. In my airline, first officers wear usually 2 stripes. Next up in the list is an SFO or a senior first officer, and you get promoted to being an SFO once your ATPL or the airline transport pilot's license is issued. Now what an ATPL is, I'll talk about that in a later video, and I'll link it up or in the description once I have made the video. So what's the difference between an SFO and a first officer? The main difference here is that an SFO is now technically eligible to start his training for command upgrade or start his training to become a captain, but he hasn't started the training as yet pertaining to a certain reasons. One reason, for example, is कि say you get your ATPL at about 2300 hours, लेकिन airline की policy के हिसाब से airline only considers you to become a captain once you cross 3000 hours. इस सिचुएशन में आप एक सीनियर फर्स्ट ऑफिसर है. Another reason is that you may have passed the requirements to become a captain even from an airline's policy point of view, but the airline doesn't need pilots right now because it might not be growing that fast. Again, you are a senior first officer. Another key difference between an FO and SFO is obviously the salary increment. Yes, you earn more as an SFO. An SFO wears 3 stripes in most of the airlines, including mine. Side note, if you are wondering why am I wearing 3 stripes here, stay tuned to the channel because I'll be explaining further details about these stripes in another upcoming video. So the next rank in a pilot's career is being a captain, and you get promoted to being a captain once the command upgrade training, which I was talking about earlier, is finished, and in addition to that, you clear few tests and checks. Side note, pilots of all these ranks, right from a second officer all the way up till an SFO, are all called co-pilots and operate from the right hand seat of the cockpit, while the captain flies from the left hand seat. Another point here is that an SFO, when he is in the command upgrade training, he flies from the left hand seat with another senior captain on the right hand seat, and is also known as a transitioning captain. The word itself is self-explanatory, right? A captain is also known as a commander. He is the PIC, or pilot in command of an aircraft, and is the leader of the crew. Now, when you become a captain really depends upon the requirements of the airlines. Does the airline needs more captains, which they actually do? And in addition to that, you'll have to have accomplished the training and testing which I specified earlier. The primary responsibility of a PIC is the safety of the aircraft, the passenger, the crew and everything, and the captain is first in command or the supreme authority once the aircraft door closed until they open back again. The captain is also answerable to the company for all the decisions taken on that particular day on all his flights. A captain wears 4 stripes in all of the airlines including mine, and this is a very proud moment and a very weighted moment in a pilot's career. Talking about promotions, well, a captain is really the highest rank in a commercial pilot's career, although there are other designations as well, like an LTC or a TRI who train fresh pilots, or an examiner, DE, who examines new pilots, or a test pilot who tests newly manufactured aircraft, or on the behalf of the airline tests new aircrafts which the airline is taking the delivery of, or some other managerial posts like chief pilot operations or chief pilot training. But nevertheless, all of these are just a subset of being a captain, and at the end of the day, even they are captains, just with certain added responsibilities and pay, obviously. And not to forget, all of these also wear 4 stripes and fly from the same left hand seat. I'll make a separate video on these designations later on. Question of the day: which one of the above mentioned designations or ranks are you curious to know more about and would want me to make a specific video on? I hope that now you understand what pilot ranks are and what these stripes actually mean. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up and do share the video as much as possible. That's it for today. Happy landings.